Nametag. Crazy with it. Straight gifted, I'm straight ripping. Man, that's all standing. Oh, so crazy.
All right. This first question says, when did mainstream rap start fully declining its substance? That's the first question somebody sent, because I'm doing a new format for Name Tag is Necessary, where I'm going to take user or listener submitted questions and I'm going to build the episodes around that. So feel free to submit your questions in if they're music related and culturally related, but we're going to try to keep it evergreen. Don't try to go with the flavor of the week that's matching the hot topics that you might see on TMZ or the Shade Room. We're not doing that. Music related, cultural conversations, and I'm gonna try to keep it positive. But that's the first question. When did mainstream rap start fully declining its substance? Shout out to my homie Desi. She sent that in, said I should talk about it on the pod. So she said that she believes mainstream rap started declining its substance with 3-6 Mafia sipping on some scissor. Let me blow this up on this iPad real quick. The reason that she said that was because she felt we stopped getting the perspective of the dealer and started getting the perspective of the user. Right. And then I got another question that was sent anonymous through an anonymous source. They said, why are we so fascinated with nostalgia? All right, so let's get into both. I'm Name Tag Alexander. This is episode 76 of A Name Tag is Necessary, with music and cultural conversations worth having. First of all, I understand this thought process behind the question, because I think what she's really saying is it's not necessarily, I know for sure she's not saying 3-6 Mafia made rap start to decline during this time frame or whatever, right? But more so like a shift in perspective of the listener, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, it's a clear difference though from rap that you would hear from the artist who's talking about their drug dealing in the past, or maybe even currently or whatever for that matter, right? Versus hearing the perspective of the actual user of the substance. It's a huge difference. You feel that vibration in the music, right? But I don't think I gotta push back just a tad bit. I don't think we can pinpoint that, which I don't all the way think she's saying that, right? So I don't think we can blame sipping on some scissor, because it's been going on like prior to this, where that perspective started to shift. Because to me, I feel like 3-6 Mafia, they were doing something a little bit more specific. They were, for one, they were definitely repping Memphis. They clearly had their own style. They had their own slang, and definitely their own production style that we hear to this day in producers' music now. And obviously, heavily doubt that 3-6 Mafia was sitting around like trying to figure out how they gonna put rap on a decline. We know for sure they were innovators, so let's get that out the way. I think this sharp turn and this change in perspective that she's talking about started to become more heavily promoted far beyond sipping on some scissor. It became more of a thing where the corporations started to promote the lifestyle of the rapper more than like the music from the rapper. They started promoting the lifestyle a little bit more. So I think that was far before sipping on some scissor. But I can see why she was, Desi, I can see why you would say that. But and then too, you can bring up like how every generation eventually gets to that point to where we're saying the generation prior ain't that good, or the generation like after isn't that good. Pardon me. Like, somebody in 1996 was probably saying music was better in 1986, or somebody in 06 could have said the same thing. And it's not a complaint. It's just that change is going to happen, you know, with the music or whatever. And it always happens. It never fails. Right now, 2026, you got people that's saying like, man, back in 06, music was like this, or back in 2016 or 96, it happens. It's just going to happen. I wouldn't necessarily say declining per se. Let me blow this up I had my notes. They scrambled all over the place. But hip hop is always changing. Rap is gonna always change. It's gonna always evolve. It's gonna always, now we got these subgenres. So you def got more like subgenres for sure that you could split the rap into for the most part. You could definitely do that. Hold on, why is this? Some technical difficulties. All right, there we go. But you could def say that for sure. But yeah, very, very interesting question to present. But yeah, I think it's really just more so about like the label started to focus more on selling that lifestyle versus like actually promoting the rapper and their music. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that's been a thing. I'm just doing on my light, but whatever. We're gonna just rock with this for now. And then we got another question. Like I said, it was submitted. It said this was anonymous. They said, "Why are we obsessed with nostalgia?" I think it's because nostalgia just comes with it's comforting pretty much. That's the easiest answer I can give. It with the present now, especially the times that we in now, it feels more like chaotic. It's complicated. We don't know what the future holds, so that it becomes concerning. And there's the past. It's experienced. We already lived in it. So that's why I think, like, even with us being obsessed with nostalgia, I wonder how much of that comes from like us missing, maybe we miss a part of who we were during that time. So we attach that to like what was out during that time. You know what I mean? So you see, we just had it where Jay-Z repackaged Reasonable Doubt, celebrating the 30 years of it. And that was a thing. Like people came out in droves, you know what I mean, to celebrate that. So because it reminds you, not only was the music good, but it reminds you of that time. I think I was 10, Reasonable Doubt came out. But that's why a song for like, I don't know, 2003, like depending on what age you is, like if you long gone from high school, but you was in high school in 03, such as myself. Yeah, you gonna feel something like when you hear that music, and you kind of hold on to, you smile, you gonna remember, like, you don't just hear the song, you remember the car you was in, you remember who you was dating, who you was fucking. You remember what all your friends was doing pretty much for the most part, and it was more just like kind of carefree. So yeah, that's why when you hear people say like, man, music ain't what it used to be, what we really saying is like, it don't feel like, or I don't feel like how I did when I heard music back then, or I heard certain songs for the first time. But that's why it's such a major thing in culture, nostalgia. You see movies being rebooted, songs that ain't even that old being sampled. You know what I mean? It's all connected to nostalgia for the most part. Nostalgia can lie to you though. Revisionist history. You only remember the good stuff only. Because it could be some bad stuff attached to nostalgia, and you like, damn, times was harder then, but the music was banging, or that TV show you was so obsessed with was on fire. You know what I mean? You had certain classic movies coming out, but life might have been a little bit harder, so we kind of blocked that out a little bit. But then we connected slightly. But I don't know. Like if I think about like 2000, like in the example I used, 2003. I like the music. I like the films. I like the TV shows and everything. But financially, I don't want to go back to that, or you know what I mean? Or I don't want to reminisce too long. You know what I'm saying? But those were this week's necessary questions. This was kind of fun. I want to do this more. If you got one, send it to me. Like I said, I'm going to try to throw a link in the description of this episode because it's just me. I'm producing this right now. I love to get a episode or show producer for a name tag is necessary, and written gems, if possible, Marvel of the Minds, so I can kind of free my hands up a little bit more and not always have to do the editing and everything. That'd be great. But yeah, if you got a question, drop it to me. If I don't put the link in the description of the show, make sure you just DM me on Instagram at Nametag Alexander. For the most part, that's why I'll be at, or on YouTube, because you could do that on YouTube now. I more than likely see it. I'm always checking. But yeah, if you got one, send it over. It got to be about music, culture, life, whatever. You just got to convince me that it's necessary, just as long as it's not the flavor of the week type stuff. But yeah, I'm Name Tag Alexander. This is a Name Tag is Necessary, music and cultural conversations worth having. Share this food on your feeds. Peace.